So welcome to the Sit Down with Stephen Taylor. Thank you very much for taking the time and joining us today. So brand new show. If you want to interact, you're more than welcome to do that at Stephen Taylor Essays, where you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So today I'm actually honored to have such an amazing superstar to kick off our first show, man. We're chatting to the one and only Jeffrey Daniel from Shalamar, the man who could dance way better than I can, firstly, and the man who taught Michael Jackson how to do the moonwalk. Wow, man. Jeffrey Daniel, how are you, man?
Steve, I'm fine, and you? Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an honor, man. So I was actually watching On Top of the Pops, I think it was back in 1982, where you performed A Night to Remember, and you actually did the moonwalk on top of the Pops. That is amazing, man.
Well, actually, I was doing the backslide because Michael changed the name to the moonwalk.
Okay.
But originally, we were calling it the backslide. But yeah, that was a monumental performance on Top of the Pops. In fact, I had the great honor that Top of the Pops have gone off the air now, but they just did the top 5 performances, the all-time top 5 performances of the history of the program, and my performance is in the top 5.
Wow, that's amazing. Eh? Out of the whole Top of the Pops, you are in the top 5. That's awesome.
Come on, the Beatles, Elton John, the Rolling Stones, and Boy George. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's a lot of history there.
So tell us about you, where you grew up. Are you from the States? Are you from the USA?
Yes. Well, first of all, just let me say, the reason why I'm bubbling and I'm so giddy right now, this is my very first South African interview like this. And so I'm very happy about it. And I've been dying to get to South Africa. So anyway, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. And that's why I came up dancing the way I did, because that's where the Soul Train television show was being aired. I mean, it's Hollywood, you know, I grew up practically in Hollywood. So, but the West Coast dance scene, the West Coast street dance scene was really something that's very, very powerful that's going on back then. And so I grew up dancing at home with my sisters and my mother. And my mother played piano in church every Sunday, so I was in church every Sunday. So that's where I started my singing. But I was dancing at home. So I'm the youngest in my family with 2 older sisters. I never knew that you were supposed to grow up and get a real job. So I just kept on singing and dancing. But it's when I saw the Soul Train television show on TV for the first time, that was it. Yeah. I had to be on that show. It was like magic for me. Now, my endeavor just to be a Soul Train dancer. So my quest to be on the TV show, little did I know that they would start a record company, and then all the other things would fall into place. And I didn't know that Michael Jackson was watching me. I was Michael's favorite dancer on Soul Train.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know that till years later. I wouldn't know that until I started working with him.
That's amazing. So tell me, when was the first time that you met Michael Jackson?
Okay, the first time I met him was around 1978, 8-ish or something, because Dick Griffey, who was the head of our record company with Don Cornelius, Solar Records, Dick Griffey was a concert promoter. So he did the Jacksons concert. Oh, wow. So, of course, I got tickets and I went along. Of course, you know, these are the Jacksons. So I went to the concert. So they had an after party in Beverly Hills, a place called Shason's. So finally, Dick walked me over to Michael. And he goes, yeah, Michael, this is one of my artists, Jeffrey Daniel. He's in the group Shalamar. And then Michael goes, oh, yeah, the second time around. And I'm like, you know my song? And that's just how gracious he was. That's the kind of person Michael was. At his after party, after his concert, singing my song to me.
That's an amazing feeling,
I didn't know, but I didn't know all along I was his favorite dancer on the Soul Train, so he knew well who I was.
Wow. And what was it like meeting Michael Jackson for the first time? Were you starstruck?
Of course, come on. From the time I was in junior high school, from the time that the Jackson 5 debuted, I mean, Michael was always a superstar to us. This little guy with this amazing, powerful voice, this passionate voice, singing like that. I mean, you've never seen nothing like it since then. And so the Jackson 5, whenever they were on TV, that's all we talked about at school the next day. Did you see the Jackson 5 last night? Did you see that, you know, the afros, the costumes, the dancing, the music, all of that. So for me to finally meet him was like, wow, you know, this is Michael Jackson, you know.
Does he now, Jeffrey? I'm going to ask you something now because I don't know if Michael Jackson, the voice, I've heard stories about that he's the voice that we hear or that we have heard is not the actual Michael Jackson voice. Does he have like that low, small, soft, mellow voice, or does he have a normal voice like me and you?
That is so funny because I've heard things like that too. That's the way Michael talks, and that's just his voice. And if you listen to his records when he was younger, he's had this squeaky high voice. And so when he matured, it just came down to still a high voice. Like I had a high voice when I was younger, but when I grew up, you know, go to adolescence to that, my voice came down like an octave or so. But I don't even have a bassy voice. Like I don't have that. I still don't even have a bassy voice myself, but Michael's voice is naturally like that. Because all the time, you know, I worked with him over a 20-year period, and all the time, his voice is like that. That's just his voice.
If there was ever somebody that I grew up listening to that I ever admired, other than you, Jeffrey Daniel, I just have to put that out there. Michael Jackson was that guy because you know, I think a lot of people misunderstood Michael Jackson and the person that he was. And there's so many stories, the hype around him. He was a man that I really looked up to, and I actually went to his History World Tour concert here in Cape Town in 1997. It was just an amazing show, and I mean, the guy could really put on a show. But you did one better. You got to meet with him and work with him, and if he was still alive today, it would just have been an honor just to be able to meet the man, and you spent so much time with him. Wow, sure, that's just amazing.
Okay. I'll tell you some inside stories, okay, that people never would know of, okay? I started going to his home. That's when he still lived at the family house in Havenhurst in Encino before he moved to his Neverland Valley. So I would go to his home and we would rehearse over the garage in a place they called the gallery. And he had put down a certain section of wooden floor to dance on. Wow. So sometimes when I arrived, they would just let me in and say, okay, go on up to the gallery and wait for Michael. Go up there and I'm waiting for him. You always know Michael's coming because he wears those loafers, right? So you can hear those loafers coming up the stairs when he comes, right? So one Sunday, I heard the loafers coming upstairs, but when he got there, it wasn't Michael. It was some bushy eyebrows, a beard and a mustache, and an afro. The voice was Michael. And I'm looking like, okay, what's going on? So I don't know what to think. It was like about my third time meeting him. So anyway, we commenced with the dance routine. So we're doing a thing called the real moonwalk. It's when you're going around in a circle and your body is rotating, going around in a circle, right? So once, I'm a little taller than Michael. So once he was doing it, and when he came back around, he's looking up at me with his eyebrows and this funny stuff on. I couldn't help it. I said, Michael, I'm sorry. I have to laugh because you just look funny. You know what he said? No. He said, I thought you were going to laugh when I first came upstairs. Yeah. He purposely left that on, trying to make me laugh, but I didn't know what was going on. So I just kept quiet about it, and I was uncomfortable. So it made him uncomfortable that I wasn't picking up on the joke. But let me tell you why he was dressed like that. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Every Sunday, he would go from door to door and knock on people's door to hand out pamphlets for Jehovah's Witness. So he didn't want people to know it was Michael Jackson. That's why he had the makeup on.
That's so funny.
But he left it on, for me to get a kick out of it. I immediately didn't. I was quiet, so then he was quiet about it until I finally laughed about it. Then that made him relax. From that point on, I knew he was really a regular guy.
Yeah, sure. And tell us about how is it true that you taught him how to do the moonwalk or the backslide, as you call it?
There's several steps that I taught him because Michael is a dancer, right? Yeah. I mean, he was always a great dancer, even before I started working with him. But he's a dancer in the sense of like I am. But Michael can't just go hang out in clubs like I can, because he's too, you know, he's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So I have to bring it to him. And so the WAP, doing the WAP, popping, locking, robot, all these different dances, we would go in his gallery. Sometimes it's not even about choreography or a certain project, it's just working out with dances. And I have some videos of me and him working together. Someone's put one on YouTube where we're in a gallery in Sony back in 1996, working out on some things. I don't know how that got out, but
wow,
we would just work out, just to be working out, just to keep in shape, because Michael can't go out and dance. Like he attempted to a couple of times. So his bodyguard went to the club door and said, "Excuse me, I got Michael Jackson coming in, but we don't want everybody to know. Can we just go to the VIP?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, right, you got Michael Jackson. I get the hell out of here." He goes, "No, seriously, I have Michael Jackson in the car." His bodyguard almost had a fight one time because of people just wouldn't believe that Michael Jackson is there.
Wow. Wow.
That's how heavy it is. So he can't go out and hang out at the clubs like that, so we bring it to him. And
all right, so Jeffrey, we are in conversation with you, of course, Jeffrey Daniel, the amazing, the man from Shalamar. I tell you what, we are going to take a break quickly. We'll be back in conversation next with the amazing Jeffrey Daniel from Shalamar. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sit Down with Stephen Taylor. We are in conversation with the amazing Jeffrey Daniel from Shalamar. So Jeffrey, take us to the music of Shalamar. I mean, make it a night to remember. Get ready, go baby tonight. That was a good song, man. I love that. I mean, even for this white guy, man, come on. Shalamar, I mean, I can't make you feel good, but you absolutely did, Jeffrey. Come on, man.
Music is universal, you know, and everybody can feel it. And, you know, we were so blessed because our producer, Leon Silvers, who produced all of the Shalamar songs, he just really was a stickler about making hits. And we have such a long catalog of hits. Like when we do our tours, it's only about which songs can we fit into the show, because some have to be left out.
Yes.
But are you saying Shalamar? Are you saying Shalamar?
How am I supposed to say it? Please help me.
Shalamar.
Shalamar. Shalamar. Is that right?
Shalamar. I thought you were saying something like Shalamar or something.
Oh, okay. I'm putting on the whole white wang thing.
Anyway,
Shalamar.
Yeah, Night to Remember is one of our standout hits.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Mary J. Blige actually did a cover of that, right?
Right. It was for a movie soundtrack, and she covered The Night to Remember. Yeah, you're right.
But you guys did it way better. Sorry, Mary.
I don't know about that. I can't say that. Don't get me in trouble.
I know.
So, have you ever been to Cape Town, South Africa?
Oh, South Africa at all?
No, only last year. Yes, I did come, but only in the airport, because last year we did a show in Mozambique.
Okay.
So we had to stop over in SA and then connect the flight.
Oh,
And
wow.
was that a connection? Because my manager and I, we missed our connecting flight. So we were stuck in that airport for about 6 hours or something like that. It was a long time.
Wow.
But I enjoyed it because I was in South Africa. It was my
Yeah,
first
man.
time, so I enjoyed it.
I wanted to show you what I'm wearing, like my little, I don't know, Michael Jackson wannabe outfit, like this. I don't know, I tried my best to try and look funky, man, but it's difficult being a white guy, you know? We haven't got the rhythm like you, Jeffrey.
When I come, we'll get together. If I can teach Michael, I can teach you.
I would look forward to that, man. Yeah, I would love to learn how to dance, man. And learning from you, no better way, man.
So you're still making
My
music?
pleasure, my pleasure. Yes, in fact, I've just released a new single, a solo
Yes.
single,
Yes.
and it's addressing all of the things, the stuff that's going on in the world, all the racism, all the hate and discord, and it's called Make Love Great Again. Now, the impetus for the song was because, first of all, Donald Trump says, make America great again.
Yeah, it's a play on
But
words.
we're living in a global economy, you know, just like
Yeah.
a virus from China affected the rest of the world. Like if the oil price is affected somewhere, it drops, it affects the other countries as well. It's like
That's
a domino effect. So I think we can all be great if we make love great again. Love is the answer.
Do you give us permission, Jeffrey Daniel, to play that song? Can we play it?
Please, I insist.
Okay. No, then we'll end off the show with that. So you recorded that and you wrote that yourself. I like how you did the video. It's like a coming together of people. It's so important during this time. Eh? And I know that we spoke, I think it was last week, we spoke about this very thing, that Black lives matter until all lives matter. So until we can get to the point where Black lives matter, they're okay, everything is perfect, then we go back to normality of all lives matter. And that's a very important point, Jeffrey.
Right. Because, you know, we're catching up. Okay, all lives do matter. Of course, all lives matter. But at the moment, it seems that, especially in America, I don't know what's happening in South Africa now. In America, it's the Blacks that are disproportionately being abused and
Yes.
actually murdered by the
Yes.
police. How do you leave home one day, you're not committing a crime, and you just never make it back home again?
Yeah.
It's a law enforcement agency that's doing this. It's insane what's happening in America. So we can't, you know, turn the blind eye to what's going on. We have to address what's going on. So the crux of what the problem is that there's old systems that are still operating that have not been properly revised to meet today's standards.
True.
And that's what the problem is. And so once we can address that, forget about, it's not about who's prejudiced, this person's prejudice, that person's prejudice. I don't think it's so much prejudice as miseducated.
Yes.
Because if you don't really understand people's histories, and you don't know the histories, and you don't understand the culture of the people, that leaves room for prejudice or racism. I don't think people are from the heart racist.
No.
I think it's the system that influences them because they are part of that system. So invariably, that makes them continue that racist pattern of behavior. And sometimes they don't even realize it. They're not even aware of it. So, but when they are educated and they understand the basis of what is creating this racism, then people can overcome it. So, and it's from both sides. It's going to take understanding and the will to break this cycle of hate and discord and racism. It's going to take all of us together to do it. And I think we all want to do it. I'm sure we all want to do it.
No, I think we do. I think it comes down to, you know, going back to the home, Jeffrey, where parents need to be sitting down when they're having family dinners and stuff like that, and talking about these things, having conversations with their children, and not bringing up a lot of people, children are brought up to, we're not brought up, we're not born racist. We're not born to hate other people. We're born to love, actually. So it is the conversations that parents are having with their children that are important. And if they are setting their children or giving their children the wrong messages, then they're going to grow up thinking that that way of life, that way of knowledge is the way to go. And we need to change that mindset.
Yeah, well, you know, you're absolutely right. It starts at home. It starts at home. And it starts with, you know, with the children. The children are what they're taught, you know, and so, and what they're influenced by. And I mean, I've lived around the world. You know, I've been living in Japan over the past, over 20 something years before I came to Nigeria. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria now.
Yeah.
And so I've lived in the UK, I'm from America. And in all my travels, especially touring or whatever, I've just learned that all people aspire for the same thing. And we all want that same precious commodity, and that's called love. Everyone wants to be loved.
Yes.
You know, everyone needs love. You know, no matter what you do, if you're a politician, if you're a businessman, if you're a, you know, I know some people love money too, but apart from money, you know, you need love, you know, otherwise what good is the money going to do you with no one to love to share it with?
Yes.
So, but I think we need to be honest in our education, and we need to educate people. I think one big problem with, I hate the misnomers, white people, black people, but for the sake of argument, I think one of the big problems with us is that a lot of our histories have been omitted from curriculum. There's a lot of our histories that Africans and black don't even know about ourselves.
Yes.
And there's a lot of histories that the Europeans don't know about us.
Yes.
So I think once we bring out some of these histories so people can realize who we really are and where we're really from, and some of the great things that we contributed to the world society, then they would look at us differently.
Yes.
And they would give us a more mutual respect. You know, we need to bring equilibrium to the perspective that we have of each other.
No, I think in closing, Jeffrey, thank you so much, man. But it is Mandela Month, and I think it's important for us to think back of the man that was Nelson Mandela and what he tried to do, not only for South Africa, but for the world, to try and bring people together regardless of their race. And I think it's important to have days and months like that and people like Nelson Mandela that we can all look up to, whether we're white, black, Indian, colored, doesn't matter. And I know that colored in America is a kind of a racist term, but in South Africa it is a normal term. So I apologize if I offended you there.
No, not at all. You did not offend me, not at all. The thing is this, when you have great people like Nelson Mandela, then it's no longer about the man. Now it's about you, it's about me, because that piece of Nelson is in you. Yes. That piece of Nelson Mandela is in me. And then we have to carry on. When you have people like Martin Luther King, it's about the message. It's about, you know, the integrity of what they stood for or what they were trying to share with us and teach us. And so now we have to be the Martin Luther King and the Nelson Mandela, the Malcolm X or the Stephen Biko or whoever, the people who are trying to bring the world together. Of course, we have to care about our family and ourselves, but we have to care about each other because we're in this world with each other. We're in this planet with each other. No one is isolated. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the people living in the Eskimos in Alaska or something, they're isolated. I don't know. But you know, we're all living. We need each other. We need each other.
We do.
Okay, on that note, Jeffrey, let's wrap it up there on a good note, man, on a positive note. And then can we just make it a night to remember? Get ready. Oh, baby, tonight. Oh, yeah.
Tonight, yeah. Make this a night to remember.
Jeffrey Daniel, yay! Shalamar.
Shalamar.
One love, brother. One love, my man. Thank you, my friend. So awesome. Peace.
Make love great again. Make love great again.
There we go. We're going to wrap the show with that. Thank you. Jeffrey Daniel, Shalamar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. God bless, my man.
Thank you very much, Steve. Hope to see you soon. Hope to see you.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Jeffrey. Thanks, my friend.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So there we go, the first show of the sit-down with Stephen Taylor. An amazing conversation, amazing interview with the superstar music, man. Thank you to my friend Lee John from Imagination for helping me to set it up, and Jeffrey Daniel, Shalamar, having a chat to us about his times with Michael Jackson, about the music, and just a whole lot of other things, man. We're going to wrap the show with a bit of his song, Make Love Great Again, which I think we all need to be hearing and taking note of during this time. Black lives do matter. I'm Stephen Taylor. Thank you, Akona. God bless.
Bigger than your city, greater than your town. There's no better feeling, spread it all around. Sending out a message across the universe. Gotta keep the movement on until it works. If we don't unite, divided we all fall. Give us a solution, not another wall. Living